a remarkable king in ancient Egyptian history, married Queen Nefertiti, often referred to as the Mona Lisa of the ancient world. As the 10th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, he ruled for 17 years and was considered one of the most forward-thinking minds of his time. Yet Akhenaten, that very king, was unexpectedly erased and rejected from Egyptian history. What extraordinary event took place thousands of years ago during Egypt's New Kingdom era? At the archaeological site of Amarna, located in central Egypt, about 320 kilometers south of Cairo, lies a quiet desert region on the eastern bank of the Nile River. At first glance, the crescent-shaped region appeared barren, covered in sand dunes and large limestone outcrops, resembling a vast, dusty basin. Yet 33 centuries ago, this very place was home to tens of thousands of ancient Egyptians. They were all brought here by the will of one man, Pharaoh Akhenaten. As a revolutionary figure, a dictatorial ruler, and the founder of one of the world's earliest and most controversial monotheistic religions, Akhenaten has been called the first ego in recorded history. The upheaval he caused to the long-standing customs and spiritual beliefs of ancient Egypt was so profound that after his death in 1336 BCE, later generations branded him a heretical rebel. His name, Akhenaten, was erased from the official list of Egyptian kings. All of these details inadvertently turned Akhenaten into one of the most captivating and controversial figures in Egyptian history. It's puzzling. How could someone like him have been chosen to become pharaoh in the first place? In truth, Akhenaten was never the original heir to the throne. In his youth, he was known as Prince Amenhotep, the younger brother of Crown Prince Thutmose. But the unexpected death of his brother made Prince Amenhotep the next in line for the throne. This pivotal event occurred in 1353 BCE, when Pharaoh Amenhotep III passed away, and Prince Amenhotep ascended the throne, taking the name Amenhotep IV. In the first half of the 14th century BCE, under his reign, Egypt experienced unprecedented growth and luxury. Moreover, he would go on to profoundly influence the concept of solar worship, laying the ideological foundation for the religious revolution he would later ignite. The religion of the ancient Egyptians was originally polytheistic. During the New Kingdom period, the god Amun became the patron deity of Thebes and was elevated by the Egyptians to a status equal to that of the sun god Ra. The Egyptians regarded Amun as the lord of all gods. In addition to Amun and Ra, they worshipped countless other deities such as Seth, Anubis, Isis, Hathor, and Thoth. Yet almost immediately after ascending the throne, Akhenaten's defiant nature began to erupt. He introduced a series of radical religious reforms, issued decrees banning all polytheistic texts, and completely abandoned Egypt's traditional beliefs. Akhenaten established a new capital city and named it after the sun god Aten. This was the once luxurious city of Akhenaten. The royal court and the central government moved from Thebes to this new capital and resided there for decades. But here, instead of honoring the sun god Amun, Akhenaten's temples were built facing east, toward the sunrise, to worship a new form of solar deity. Akhenaten's god was described as the living god Ra-Horus, who will appear on the horizon from the glorious light of his solar disk. This was originally a foreign deity introduced into the Egyptian religion. Soon after, the word Aten, the Egyptian term for solar disk, came into use as a simpler and more memorable designation. The god Aten, portrayed as a large red disk radiating light, was first mentioned in the tale of Sinuhe from the 12th dynasty. In that story, the deceased king is described as a god rising from the heavens and merging with the solar disk, a divine body united with its creator. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting adventures. Similarly, the term Silver Aten was commonly used to refer to the moon. Not stopping at changing the object of worship, the pharaoh of the 18th dynasty also changed his name, originally Amenhotep, associated with the old god, to Akhenaten, to demonstrate his close connection to the new supreme deity. Continuing his sweeping religious reform from polytheism to monotheism, Akhenaten ordered the creation of numerous colossal limestone statues of himself, which were then affixed to columns lined up throughout the Temple of Aten. Akhenaten may be considered the first monotheist in recorded history, preceding Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the prophet Muhammad, all of whom also worshipped only one god. From then on, Aten became the central deity in the Egyptian state religion. These are among the clearest pieces of evidence of the dramatic and sudden transformation in Egyptian society at that time, as the sculptures of Akhenaten broke entirely from the traditional conventions of ancient Egyptian art. While the posture of the statues, as well as certain elements, still generally adhered to the conventions of ancient Egyptian sculpture, such as crossed arms over the chest, holding the royal symbols of the crook and flail, wearing the double crown, the iconic headdress, and a short kilt to evoke heroic strength and ultimate authority, a quality crucial for a king. The physical depiction of Akhenaten's body broke all tradition, even appearing bizarre by modern standards. The statue portrays the pharaoh with an elongated face, high cheekbones, a long nose tapering to a pointed chin. His lips are unusually full, hips are wide, and the belly appears sagging. Was this the portrait of a ruler suffering from illness, or a bold new version of kingship that transcended the old norms? More importantly, it raises a deeper question. What kind of personality, in the context of ancient Egyptian society, gave rise to such dark and peculiar artistic expression? In the end, was Akhenaten a visionary pharaoh ahead of his time, or simply a madman who sat upon the throne? Akhenaten remains one of the most controversial pharaohs to ever rule Egypt. According to Egyptian mythology, he was a descendant of gods who came to earth during the time known as Tep-Zepi, and to this day many still believe that this pharaoh was a deity who came from the stars. The earliest records describe him as being akin to the sun itself. Based on accounts related to this king, as well as poems and writings from later generations, Akhenaten was said to have been born of beings who descended from the sky. These celestial visitors frequently returned to guide him and instruct him on what he should do. This may well explain why he chose to abandon the worship of all other Egyptian deities and initiated such sweeping changes to the nation's religious beliefs. The sun god Aten was worshipped throughout the reign of Amenhotep IV, depicted as a man with the head of a falcon, resembling the god Ra. Akhenaten once declared, "There is only one God, my father. I can approach him both day and night." At the time, such a statement was considered highly unusual. Egypt was in turmoil, both religiously and politically. The priestly class, especially those devoted to the cult of Amun, held immense power. They not only occupied important religious positions, but also wielded great political influence. Akhenaten's decision to abolish the status of Amun, the chief deity worshipped by these priests and the foundation of their authority, was essentially a slap in the face. As a result, although the court and officials outwardly complied with Akhenaten's reforms, internally they harbored deep resentment and discontent. There is a long list of bizarre traits associated with the image of Akhenaten: an elongated skull, a long neck, sunken eyes, thick thighs, elongated fingers, backward-bending knees, a protruding belly resembling pregnancy, and a chest shaped like that of a woman. Overall, his body appeared to be a blend of both male and female features. The most striking peculiarity was the elongated skull, a feature consistently depicted in nearly all statues and illustrations of him. This unusual appearance made Akhenaten's image starkly different from the idealized traditional representations of Egyptian pharaohs. Why did he choose to reshape the royal image to resemble such an effeminate version of a pharaoh? Even his wife, Queen Nefertiti, was portrayed with an elongated skull. Could they have suffered from a genetic disorder that caused cranial deformation and bodily asymmetry? If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting adventures. Could there be something more to this strange pharaoh and his origin? Could he truly have been a hybrid, possessing genes and DNA from an extraterrestrial source? Many questions have been raised, but one thing is certain. Overall, he did not resemble other pharaohs or ordinary humans. According to Dr. Braverman, a professor of dermatology at Yale School of Medicine, the feminine traits of the king may have been caused by familial gynecomastia, a condition resulting from a genetic disorder known as aromatase excess syndrome. This was the first diagnosis ever proposed for Akhenaten. As for the strange shape of his head, Dr. Braverman believed it resulted from craniosynostosis, a condition in which the cranial sutures close too early in childhood, impairing brain development. In this specific case, it was diagnosed as sagittal synostosis, which is mostly hereditary. Dr. Braverman also noted that he observed similar abnormalities in Queen Hatshepsut, daughter of Thutmose I, Akhenaten's paternal ancestor, and even in King Tutankhamun, the last known descendant of the royal lineage. After the reign of Akhenaten, the exclusive worship of the god Aten was abolished. The temples dedicated to the sun were destroyed, the god Amun was restored to his former status, and traditional beliefs and religions were reinstated. The royal court also returned to Thebes. Ancient Egypt quickly recovered and resumed its traditional path of polytheistic worship. In addition, monuments, statues, and inscriptions bearing Akhenaten's name and legacy were almost entirely destroyed by later pharaohs and their successors. Today, many Egyptologists believe that Akhenaten was in fact forced to abdicate and fled Egypt along with his loyal followers. The fate of Queen Nefertiti after Akhenaten's death also remains a mystery and is not recorded in history. Historical records mention the emergence of two mysterious pharaohs, Smenkhkare and Neferneferuaten, before the throne was officially passed to Tutankhamun. It has been hypothesized that Queen Nefertiti changed her name to Neferneferuaten and ascended the throne as pharaoh following the death of her husband. Alternatively, Neferneferuaten may have been Meritaten, the daughter of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. However, these remain speculations, as many pieces of the puzzle surrounding these two mysterious pharaohs have yet to be solved. It was not until the reigns of the next three rulers, Tutankhamun, I, and Horemheb, that Egypt began to recover from the chaos left behind by Akhenaten. When both Tutankhamun and I died without heirs, Horemheb, formerly a general during Akhenaten's reign, emerged as the most powerful figure in the kingdom and was naturally chosen to become pharaoh. He restored the authority of the priesthood of Amun and brought Egyptian religion back to its traditional roots. At the same time, Horemheb ordered the destruction of monuments associated with Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, and I in an effort to erase their names from history. By the 19th century, in the city of Amarna, Egypt, many ruins of the ancient capital Akhenaten, along with statues and reliefs depicting Pharaoh Akhenaten, were discovered. It was only then that Akhenaten's name was reintroduced into the historical record. In 1907, an archaeological team discovered a tomb in the Valley of the Kings labeled KV55. The tomb was relatively small and resembled a makeshift burial site. Inside was a damaged mummy of a male individual. Initially, many scientists mistakenly believed the mummy belonged to a woman, as it exhibited characteristics such as wide hips and slender arms. However, after multiple examinations, it was confirmed to be the remains of a man. Researchers suspected that the mummy might be that of Akhenaten, but at the time, there was insufficient data to confirm this. It wasn't until recent years, when scientists conducted DNA testing on a series of royal mummies, that they concluded the mummy in tomb KV55 is indeed Akhenaten, the son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and Queen Taya. After his death, Akhenaten's mummy was buried in the tomb he had built for himself. However, when the royal court moved back to Thebes, his body was relocated and temporarily reburied in a tomb in the Valley of the Kings, known as KV55. When the mummy was excavated, researchers confirmed that Akhenaten's skull was indeed deformed and elongated. Later, when Howard Carter discovered Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, it was revealed that his skull had a similar shape. In February 2010, DNA test results confirmed that Tutankhamun was, in fact, the biological son of Akhenaten. Another particularly intriguing detail is that Akhenaten's elongated skull bears some resemblance to the Paracas skulls. Meanwhile, DNA test results from these skulls revealed that they do not belong to any known human lineage on Earth. This connection may remind us of the early suspicion that Akhenaten was someone from the stars. Could he have been a being created by extraterrestrial races? Perhaps this mystery is something we can continue to discuss together in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our latest videos. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.